I'm not a thought leader. I don't think I'm good enough to go out there and write posts or articles, and I don't feel brave enough to do this. Today's video does not involve a question and answer. It's simply a sentiment, thoughts that I have heard and were spoken to me in face-to-face conversations, text messages, and emails. So let me start with this. Credibility, influence, visibility, these are not solely and exclusively for those who hold power and charm and charisma. Here's the truth. Credibility and influence and visibility are within every person's reach. Why? Because we have the tools and resources today more than ever before. Because these tools don't cost a thing. Because the playing field has leveled and there are opportunities for anyone to go out there and make themselves heard. So, quite apart from the availability of resources you need to make yourself heard, that is, you've got platforms to be visible, the question you face is, why me? And I say in response, why not you? Each of us is on a journey with our lives, with our careers. We're all of us at different stages of our journeys. And we bring our culture, our norms, our habits, our thought processes, our approaches, our education and skills, knowledge, dare I say, our expertise with us. And I used to think that only experts had the right to share ideas, to pontificate, to preach. And that held me back for many years. But what shifted for me was what I found at the very start of my entrepreneurial journey in the early 2000s. In my 30s, I was deeply immersed in a terribly uncomfortable arena. I was in over my head, exploring the world of startups and tech and all manner of things that I knew nothing about. I knew things within my little box, but not much else. And it was terrifying to be sitting in the unknown, to always be right on the edge of uncomfortable, but alongside that discomfort, so much learning. And so, like a sponge, I soaked it all up. And as I went out there looking for new ideas and learning about the space I was in, I looked everywhere. Magazines, blogs, podcasts. I mean, it was the early days of blogs and podcasts, but it just threw me in a headspin because I was reading articles by founders about their journeys. I was listening to podcasts about entrepreneurs building businesses, sharing a lot of what I thought was personal proprietary information and letting their guard down, sharing their journeys, failures, and mishaps. What a novel idea. How brave. But then how kind and supportive. How community focused, I thought. And then it hit me. You don't need to be an expert and to know everything in order to write and share your ideas. You simply share your perspective based on what you know, based on where you are right now. Just add the context. By providing context and your story, your reader gets to step into your shoes, immerse themselves in your situation, if only for a moment. And if you're good and done your job well, they get to see things from your perspective. And that is priceless. That is valuable. And that's all we want, really, don't we? We want to be seen, we want to be heard, and we want to be valued. You've got as much a right as the next person to make your mark and take a stand. And with deliberate practice and intentionality, you can make this happen for yourself. Sure, some of it can be a challenge, like, how long a post, what to write, where to publish, etc. And if you're doing videos, what equipment to use, getting the settings right, all of that. But the important thing is to know what you want to say. What is the message you want to get out there? And why does it matter? The rest is details, and you can figure it out along the way. Baby steps. You don't need to see the entire journey. You just need to see the next couple of steps. So think about it as a job seeker, You want to be seen and heard and be valued. Yes, in terms of the roles you're applying for, true, but also within a much wider context. If you want to be seen and heard and valued, then it starts with having something meaningful and authentic to say. So what will you share? Rowena Moraes here with episode 7 of the Jobseeker Help Series. Feel free to leave a comment or join in the conversation on LinkedIn.